Okay. No. I forgot I had my... Ooh, I look really red. I haven't been in the sun. Anyway, I have a candle in here somewhere. Oh, I thought I did. Oh, never mind. I bought it at the, what's it called? Grocery outlet a couple days ago. Anyway, so this is a wild story. And it's all true. It's all true. Everything I say is, I'm not making it up. There's just no reason to do that. So, like, I've been trying to lay down, like, relax, but my head is really stuffy from the COVID still. So, like, I went to the doctor today and basically just complained about my congestion and, like, severe pressure in my ears. But that was pretty much it. I don't have a fever anymore, even though I feel like I do. I just don't feel well. Anyway, but I haven't been able to shower. I haven't been able to, like, use public restrooms. Like, I've been coming up here on the mountain and, staying up here, you know, because I'm supposed to be, what do you call it, quarantining. And, like, that's not an easy thing to do when you really rely on public services. So I can't, you know, go to showers of blessings for a shower or whatever. Anyway, you know, also, like, I'm really, despite what people may think, because I tend to be pretty unbothered and can come off as very aloof. At least my eyes are not so puffy. Oh my god, they're so puffy though. Fuck you, COVID. But anyway, so I anyway, I thought I might as well make a video. It's probably gonna take a while to upload it because I'm in a spot where I don't really get good reception. But I'll do my best, which is usually pretty fucking good. So I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, so this is a crazy story, but it's all true. It's all true. I'm trying to think of, like, how I'm gonna put it all together so that it, like, makes some kind of cohesive, like, chronological sense. So I was living in Napomo, and I started working for a man named Jerry Murphy, and, remember the camera's up there, and I don't know how long I had been working there exactly. I think like 2 years. And I had, you know, I had my own internet service with Charter Spectrum. I mean, I had my whole setup. I was broadcasting a lot on an app called Periscope at the time. You know, I had my art business that was really doing well for a while. Resin art, like everything resin, you know, everything I could do resin, like UV resin, 2-part epoxy resin, polyplastics, you name it, I did it. And there was this company that called me, and they called themselves the Home Protection Agency. And this was after COVID. This was shortly after COVID started. And there were a lot of scams, especially to do with real estate and things like that. And Jerry had been in the Santa Maria Regional Hospice, I think they call it urgent, or no. Anyway, it wasn't hospice. They had a different name for it. Stop, meow. But anyhow, he had been there for a while already, and he'd asked me to stay. He'd never asked me to leave. Everybody else who had stayed at his home, he'd gotten in some knockdown, drag-out fight with them at some point or other, and told them, you know, GTFO. And, but he hadn't done that to me. So, there's some things I'll leave out of the story, just because I don't really have clearance to talk about them yet, but the rest is, it's all, I mean, it's all true. So this Home Protection Agency calls me up, and they say, I think the young man, he sounded like a young man. The man that talked to me first, he's told me his name is Ben. And he said, he was very angry and mean on the phone and very rude. And he said, you have 24 hours to get out. And I was like, what? Like, I did not respond the way he wanted me to. Not at all. Not with fear, not with, you know, I mean, they tried the stick before they tried the carrot with me. And, I would have questioned either one, but still. So then I hung up on him, I think, you know, like, what the fuck, dude, what are you talking about? And, stuff I knew was not legal. Like, right off the bat, I knew that that wasn't legal. And, then, I think, like, less than an hour later, this woman calls me. I don't remember her name, but I have her phone number. I have it all. I have all this. Everything I'm saying, I have it all. Then she talks to me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not always giving her, you know, edgewise to go anywhere. And, you know, these people were really preying on the fact that, like, at the time I was still kind of ashamed of some things, and I was unhealed, very unhealed. And, like, you know, there were just things going on in my life, you know. And let's see. I was in a shitty relationship, like, ugh, anyway. My sister was saying horrible things about me and had been saying horrible things about me for over 20 years, and I didn't even know. I didn't know that I have been through the ringer in my life. Oh my God. So anyway, I started having issues with my internet, I bought a brand new, iPhone 11 from Charter Spectrum. It came in a Apple box. I mean, it, you know, everything seemed all right. And as time went on, I had purchased some Bluetooth speakers, like with a subwoofer and a sound bar. And one of the first things I noticed was these speakers kept popping. And I thought, well, you know, what's that? Because I wasn't really turning it off at night. I would just leave it on and, like, hook my phone to it, you know, and play music through it while I was working. What I came to realize was that the microphone inside my Bluetooth speaker was listening to me. It happened with my security camera. Shortly after I got Bella, my security camera was talking. I mean, I could hear voices, and you have to understand that this property, Cayuse Yellow, 460 Cayuse Yellow in Napoma, California, there's only one road in, one road out. And it's a very quiet road, like hardly any traffic. And so what, you know, you notice things like higher, you know, days where there's a lot of more traffic, and, you know, you would notice, you know, somebody just parked out on. I mean, it's not like a city street where, anyway, my neighbors knew what was going on. Cindy and Charlie Guyash, the Kings across the street, Karen and Mark King, and Karen's brother, Newt Bjorn. They knew what was happening to me. They knew that I wasn't crazy. They knew that somebody was breaking into the house. They knew all kinds of things. But Cindy and Charlie Guyash were the ones who initiated this, because they didn't want me living next to them. They didn't want me there. And they hated Jerry. But so, you know, fast forward, like, all kinds of weird shit was happening. My internet was, I mean, just, and another thing, the internet company, Charter Spectrum, put some kind of weird splicer on my internet. I had walked Bella all over that neighborhood, and nobody's internet looked like mine. Nobody. I had never seen this piece of equipment before. I called, what do you call it? I called, Charter Spectrum to come and check on it. And the guy took it off. He said it shouldn't have been there. There were so many strange things. And also the guy who put that piece of equipment on, he came in an unmarked car. Like, he came in, like, his personal car. Like, what? I have records of all of it. And even if I didn't, like, it's, anyway. So, then one night, and I don't remember exactly when this was. Like, if I look back at my, ouch, at certain things, I could figure it out. But, you know, mind you, I was going through the grief of, like, losing all my family members and, you know, like, my mother dying under strange circumstances, and my brother, too. And then, Jerry died, while, you know, all this was going on. He died in October of 2021, and I didn't know he had died. I didn't know he had died until, my brother died on December 20th of 2021, and I was talking to my sister, and she said she had been talking to somebody named June Murphy, negotiating for my housing. What? What? Yeah, my sister's next level crazy too, but like my stepsister. But anyway, which means she knew something about it. They all did. I suspect that all my information, including like my current location, is on the dark web. Yeah. And I mean, I know I seem super calm about it. And the reason is, like, you know, once you get used to being spied on all the time, he's like, whatever. 11:11 on the clock when I said that. Like, you just can't, like, you realize pretty quickly, there's no use in getting upset about it. Why? You know, it's been going on for so fucking long. Like, who cares? You know, like, I really almost don't care right now. And frankly, it says a lot more about the people watching than it does me. But I suspect that all my information is on some voyeur website. People who like to watch people who don't think they're being watched, I suppose. Well, no more fun, because I've known for a while. I don't know, like, why people think I'm an idiot or something. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, just because I don't freak out about everything. So, one night, I'm in the front room, and it's really tall ceilings in there, probably like 25, 30 feet. At the highest points. Really tall ceilings. And so, this one night, somebody had stolen my Apple ID. It was like, I had never seen anything like it. I still had my phone, but somebody else was signed in to my Apple ID. Like, what? And this was on my iPhone 11, and my brother had bought me an iPhone 7 too that I had, but this was, you know, that phone didn't have any service on it. So, and this is a complicated story, like, and it's not my, you know, complexity or my complication. It's crazy. It's just not my kind of crazy. Anyway. So, I think that after Charlie had tried hard enough to get me out of the house and had hired people to help him, and I wasn't intimidated. I mean, they intimidated me. They harassed me. You know, I mean, they did everything they could do. And, nothing was working. So he hired people to help him. That didn't work either. I thought maybe it was Jerry for a while, but no, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. I know it wasn't. And, you know, this was like my Bluetooth speaker. Okay, there was a bunch of Bose, really nice, like Bose stereo equipment in the hallway closet of Jerry's house, and I had never touched it up until that point. One day I go out into the garage, and all the stereo equipment's out there, like, hooked up to Jerry's. He had a lot of those. I think he had like 2 or 3 of these, like, electric wheelchairs, you know, and they have the battery in them, like a car battery, kind of, only smaller. Like a 9-volt battery, you know, big square thing. And all this stuff was hooked up, and I could hear shit coming out of these speakers. Like, and like, yeah, I was tripping, but like, yeah, no, I wasn't tripping that hard. Like, I know what I was hearing. And, I think the neighbors on the other side too, Victoria and her son who's autistic, they live on the corner, next to Jerry's house. She knew about it too, and she hated me. I mean, she hated me. I don't even know why. No idea, but she hated me. Probably jealous, like most people have been in my life, and like, ugh, really nasty, like vile, disgusting jealousy too. Not like. Anyway, so this one night, this is when they tried to kill me. You know, and after the last video, you'd be like, damn, you were raped, and then someone tried to kill you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then be like, how can you be so nonchalant about it? Well, what am I supposed to act like? I've cried every flippin' tear I can possibly cry. I've been through it all, like, and then some. Anyhow, so this one night, you know, like I said, my Apple ID was stolen, and I couldn't I couldn't think. It was the weirdest thing. Now, I guess before I go into that, I had a apartment with my ex back in like the early 2000s, and we lived in a townhouse on Castillo Street, and owned by the Ojeda family, and Rita and I can't remember his name. Rita and anyway Ojeda, 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 and we rented that home from that townhouse from them for a couple years, and during that time, something went wrong with the heating duct. I was told that the gas company, or whoever had, not the gas, I was told by the gas company that whoever had assembled the heating system, the heating and cooling system in the house, had not attached the vent properly to, hadn't sealed the vent properly, so we were getting blowback of carbon monoxide all the time. Now, I had very intense carbon monoxide poisoning while I was there. I landed in the hospital over it, and it was horrifying. It was bad. I thought I was losing my mind. I did, because the nature of carbon monoxide poisoning is such that it's like being in a dream all the time. It's weird. It's very strange. So, and I had been having like really weird dreams and waking up in night sweats and all this strange stuff, and I just couldn't tell what was happening. So finally, one night I couldn't breathe, and I went to the hospital because I couldn't breathe. And they looked at my oxygenation level. I was like at 70% at sea level. That's not normal. Even for a heavy smoker, like, that's not normal. So, and they told me I had severe carbon monoxide poisoning, which the Ojedas never did anything about. Never. So anyway, I know that this gas that was pumped into the house, Jerry Murphy's house, it was something that stays low to the ground. And it was not carbon monoxide. It had a smell to it. Like an oily smell almost. Something gross. Like, it was very chemical smell. It wasn't it wasn't nitrous oxide. It wasn't carbon monoxide. It was something else. I don't know what it was, but it was meant to stay low to the ground because whoever was doing it, which I think it was Charlie and Cindy's, one of their son-in-laws maybe, or somebody like that, but somebody they know, somebody they're friends with, like their family is friends with, and a younger man, like not young, but like younger than Charlie, but then Charlie's older than dirt, so ugh. Gross. Him and his dusty, crusty wife. So that night, I know that what was happening was either they were trying to make me pass out, and I couldn't like think clearly enough to do anything about what was happening to me. All I could do was try to get my phone. I couldn't even get my phone to work. Like, it was so bad. Like, I panicked, and I don't panic is a thing. So I knew, I wasn't myself at all. And, I was scared. I didn't know what to think. And I also, like, I didn't, you think, like, we'll go outside. But, like, you have to understand that, like, I was not there mentally. Like, whatever this gas was, I was debilitated. There was I didn't have any logic. It was weird. And I was completely operating on fear. So, Bella was sick from this stuff too, whatever it was. Anyway, they pumped it into the house. It was winter time, so I had everything closed. And I wasn't using the heater inside the house at all because that house, in fact, did have a carbon monoxide leak. I told Jerry about it, and I started turning the heater off. Because when I first got there, the man had the heater blasting all the time. And I knew what I was feeling, so I closed all the vents in the room in the master bedroom where I was living, and the bathroom, and, you know, like, slept with the door open and all. Like, the outside door open. But, I knew that this was what was happening because of this, you know, carbon monoxide poisoning. It's easily recognizable. It's easy to recognize it. Once you've had it happen to you, you know what's going on. So, but I remember, like, I had a really hard time waking up the next day. I couldn't sleep very well was another thing. I was having crazy visions. I mean, I have visions anyway. But, like, these were not normal. There were things happening to me inside the house. Like, I was going through, like, electric shocks and weird things that were going on. Ugh. And, not only were people astral projecting to me, but people were using black magic, and then on top of that, I had this bullshit going on. Like, what? I'm not kidding. Oh. Excuse me. Oh. It took me a while to even, like, be able to understand the levels of black magic, and I mean, like, sick shit, like, sacrificing animals, and blood magic. I mean, you know, anything that you do is with intent, you know, it has to do with intent. So, you know, it depends on where your intent is coming from. But these people meant to hurt me, and they meant to fuck me up. Totally, 100%. And I had so many people playing in my energy, I couldn't tell what was what, you know, like, I couldn't tell who was doing what, and when, and why, and, because, I mean, like, my mind is just, I mean, I have a pretty crazy brain, like, a brilliant and, you know, incredibly powerful mind, and at the same time, like, it's not demented like that, you know, I just don't think of weird shit like that, let alone act on it. Ugh. So, but, yeah, these people, I mean, I had it coming left and right, upside down, diagonals, forwards, backwards. It was all happening to me. And I just really, you know, for a long time, you know, I didn't know, you know, it's, maybe people could call me naive, you could say I'm naive. But the fact of the matter is, like, because I don't operate on such a low vibrational level, like, it's hard for people that don't to imagine the horrible shit that people do to each other. And I mean, like, this was all done, you know, you might ask yourself, well, I mean, and I went through years of stalking that's still going on right now. I know that there's a camera and a microphone active inside my car. I know there is. And you'd be like, well, why aren't you, you know, didn't Subaru give you that car? Yes, they did. They did. You know, oh yeah. So I know, it's just like, what's the point in getting, I mean, my shit's been blasted everywhere, like, I mean, I take I piss and poop in my car, not in the car, but, like, you know, like, while I'm in the car, you know, like, and, I mean, it's all been seen. I know it has. It's all on some voyeur website somewhere. You know, some weirdo, a bunch of guys jacking off to it, or who knows, I don't even know. People laughing at me, thinking I'm stupid, and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, people imitating the fuck out of me. You wouldn't be the first ones. Often imitated, never duplicated. I'm not, yeah, I know. And I know I may sound paranoid, or you may be thinking, like, what? You know, like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I agree. It's totally insane. However, it's not me. I didn't come into these people's lives. They came into mine. I know that there's still at least one person from that group of people, Cindy, Charlie, Guyash, and other people, who's like fucking obsessed with me. Like, will not stop. A man. I know. And this, do I know? How do I know? My intuition. I just know. I know because I listen to tarot readers that are just as good, just as intuitive as I am. And we know how to, channel energy and all kinds of different things. I have a feeling that one of them has already commented on my YouTube channel. I mean, if you just even think about me, I'm gonna know. And how do I know that? Because my energy is very clear. It's very pure, it's very clear. And frankly, the only person I hang out with all day is my dog. And yeah, she's a person, so she's definitely a person. Best human being I ever met. Anyhow, you say like, well, that's a crazy conspiracy. Yep, it sure is. It sure is. But a lot of people had a lot of money to lose by letting me go. And so that's part of the reason this car was given to me. Yep. And, oh, I know. Oh, yeah, the dealership knew. Yep. I can't prove that. But, like, wherever the camera and the microphone is in the car. Yeah. And how do I know this? Because, well, there's a couple different ways that I know. But there are a number of things that have happened to me in this car, too, that nobody could have possibly known unless they were watching. And there's no way I didn't have my phone pointed at me all the time. And then I was also covering up my phone camera a lot. I was using whiteout to paint over the camera on the front and the back. So, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way that camera has to be in the car. I know. Anyway. Oh, I told you, I know more than you ever wanted me to. Ever. So, oh yeah. Yeah. It's, like, I don't even know how many people are gonna go to prison for this. No idea. Like, that sucks. 27 on the clock. But, like, you know what? And people made a lot of money off me, too. A lot of money. Releasing all my information onto the dark web. Stealing my identity. All kinds of shit. You name it, they've done it to me. You name it, they've done it. Sacrificing animals, doing all kinds of weird fuck shit in the dark, moon magic, blah, blah, blah. Spell work, witchcraft, you fucking name it. All up one side, down the other. To the nth degree, done it all. Done it all to me. They've done it all. And then some. Yeah. Y'all doing way too much. Anyhow, so. True story. True story. I can't even make it up. I can't even make it up. And be like, well, you're so calm. Be like, well, do I have a choice, though? Do I have a choice? Anyway, so that gas, they tried to kill me with that. My food was poisoned. My pot was poisoned. All kinds of weird shit was done to me. And nobody listened to me about it. Nobody listened to me at all. I called the sheriffs one day because I heard a man in the attic, or like the crawl space, above the front room. First of all, what I heard was like a vibration in the walls, like a phone that was on vibrate. But the weird thing was that when I went to each of the vents inside the house, it was at each vent. It wasn't like, oh, I moved 10 feet away to the next vent and it still sounds like it's over there. No, it was in each vent. And I was like, what? I mean, I've always listened to walkie-talkies and like police scanners. So I know how they work. And I had multiple walkie-talkies and scanners in my house at my residence in Napomo. And, yeah, they did something called title jumping. And they stole the house from Jerry Murphy and me. And then proceeded to do anything and everything they could to get me out. And once I was out, they still didn't leave me alone. They tried to kill me again. Oh, yeah. I was followed, I was stalked, multiple people on social media everywhere. Even, people were stalking me even, even, like, just before I got this car. So, and I realize what I'm saying when I say, you know, like, yeah, somebody paid. I don't know if the whole dealership knew about it. I don't know if, the man who is the owner, I mean, he's the owner of the dealership. I'm not sure if it's like a franchise thing or how that works. But I don't know if he knew about it. But Rick Muller certainly knew about it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. And, I think the person who donated this car to Subaru, and then it was given to me, I think that person was part of it too. I'm not certain about that. But it was a woman. It was an elderly woman. That's what I was told. I tried to get the title records of my car, and I keep running from the DMV, and I keep running into roadblocks. Why? That shouldn't be that way. Why Subaru still to this day will not give me the maintenance paperwork for this car is beyond irrational. It's irrational. If they want me, if they want the relationship to be over, give me the fucking paperwork for my car. But see, there's a reason why they don't want me to have it. And it's not just because it'll prove that they're a bunch of lying assholes. Or at least that Rick Muller is. You know, like, there's something more to it than that. I know there is. I know there is. They don't want me to know who had this car before me, is what it is. That's one of the things. I felt that from the very beginning when this car was first given to me. I asked who it belonged to, and they wouldn't tell me. I was like, that's not normal. That's weird. So, and, you know, the sheriff, when I heard somebody in the attic that night, or that day, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when, because I had stopped working, and I'd turn off all the lights and the music and stuff, and, I hear this vibrating in the fucking vents in the house. I was like, what? Something was done to my dog, too. I think she was chipped. Although I have taken her to the Humane Society and had her checked, and they said she doesn't have a chip, but I'm pretty sure she got chipped.
Oh.
Because one night, she came in from outside, and I had to go outside and pick her up. She was next to dead, and I have no explanation for how that happened. She was groggy and fucked up for like 5-6 hours, and didn't come out of it for like 5-6 hours. And, I think nearly killed my dog. Yeah, true story. Bastards. But, yeah, this has been following me around for a long time. So, and there are other things, you know, like I have 2 exes here in town, and both of them seem to, like, know odds and ends, like, odd pieces of information about me that nobody could have known. They couldn't have known that unless they were watching me, like, with their eyes. In my other car, in the Honda Civic, and in this car. And I think that, Charles Alonzo Watson III, he put something in that car, a camera. Because there were tools that he had in the car that it made no sense why they were in the car. The kind of tools that they weren't for working on a car. No. Yeah, no. And he was the only other person that had a key to the car and access to the car for any amount of time, other than myself, that I know of, you know. But anyhow, yeah. Fuck you, Chuck. I do not envy you and your freaking incontinence. And I know you're a mess right now. I just don't. I have no sympathy for you. None at all. You know, like, wow. Anyway, I love you from afar. Like, really far. People are crazy. Totally crazy. So, this, let's see. So in Napomo, I put up a good fight for probably 2 years after this home protection agency, or I think 3 years. After this 3 years. I hung in there. I called, I had a attorney service. It's a place that you pay like $25 a month to get the service. And like, I don't have those. I mean, I'm sure I could prove it through my bank statements. Through my bank will know. We'll have those records of who I was paying. I don't remember anyway, it's like fairly, it's a well-known attorney service, $25 a month. They're based in Los Angeles, California. I talked to them. I submitted all the paperwork that had been left on the front door. Again, I mean, somebody was posting a notice on the front door of like, and it said something like, we're going to be, here tomorrow at this time to change the locks on the door. I'm like, the hell you are. I know that that's illegal. In the state of California, it's illegal. You can't do that. So, I mean, it wasn't signed by Jerry Murphy, nothing. Jerry didn't know anything about it. And, anyway, I mean, he didn't have the money to pay these people anyway. And these people were paid to do what they did. So when the people showed up the next day, I live streamed it on Facebook. I put it in Napomo Neighbors and one other site. And I think I posted on my page at the time. It was RUWise. And, but like, wasn't trying to hide anything, and like some time went by, that knocked them down. They did not expect me to do that. I don't know what they expected, but they didn't expect that. So then they stopped for a while, and like the stalking and everything became more like covert. There was one time where I was hearing a signal inside the house, and it sounded like someone was like on a police radio, where like it goes, like the you can hear the signal like somebody transmitting, and it's just like a quick like static like, like someone's depressing the transmitter button, and I know this is pissing a lot of people off. I posted on my Twitter page that I know I'm in danger. I know that people are still after me. I know that they're still stalking me. I know I'm still being followed. I know all of that. I know all of it. And when I heard the guy in my attic, the day that I heard all the static and shit, I followed the noise out into, was that a spider? The fuck? Something just fell down from the... What? That was weird. The fuck? Anyway. So, I followed the noise out to the back porch of the, master bedroom. And I know Michael Douglas Wood, I know he knows about this too. And he has kept his mouth shut. He thinks he's a good liar. He thinks he's slick. Yeah, no, bro. I know way too much about you. Way too much. Anyway, he's a fucking terrible liar. Always been a terrible liar. But anyway, not that's a good thing. You're not supposed to be a good liar, Like, if you are, you're probably a psychopath or a sociopath or both. So anyway, I followed the noise out into the back porch of the master bedroom where I was sleeping, and all my walkie-talkies are daisy-chained together. They're all wired together, like plugged into each other, so that the battery is like so the battery doesn't die. And then it was plugged into my solar batteries on the back porch, because I had a bunch of solar like fairy lights, like LED lights, that I would turn on at night to kind of light up the back porch area. I bought lights. I did everything I could to secure that place, and I just couldn't. Like, somebody had a key to the place. Somebody had broken in the garage door. I guess there's like an emergency exit in a garage door. I didn't know this for a long time. It's like maybe the second house I've lived in my whole life that had a garage door to it at all. but the thing was totally bent in, and when I looked at it, it had a release, and it was like a, anyway, it was like an emergency exit, like vent to the garage. Anyway, I didn't know that it could do that. I'd never seen a garage door do that, but somebody had been coming in and out that way. It was just like, you know, wide enough to like scoot your body in. Charlie Guyash had wired a camera out side of the garage door, and then proceeded to tell me he didn't know anything about it. Mike said he didn't know anything about it. Well, Mike's not smart enough to wire a fucking battery into his, you know, into the freaking remote control for his TV. So yeah, it wasn't Mike. But no, Charlie did that. Charlie was real good with things like that too. And the walkie-talkie thing. Charlie did all that. And then there were cameras planted inside the house. And microphones. Well, they were using my Bluetooth speakers against me is what they were doing. The attorney service that I hired out of Los Angeles, California, like I said, I gave them a bunch of the paperwork because people were, you know, they posted an erroneous eviction notice on the door again. And I went to my attorney service and I submitted everything. They said, oh, this is bullshit, you know, don't worry about it. I said, okay. And then next thing I know, like a week or 2 weeks later, both of those attorneys, both female, one of them who has she's a published author writing about cyber stalking, gang stalking, all this stuff, and she was the one who she recommended to me to get a radio frequency detector, and I did. And I mean, that house was either like the most active house with like paranormal activity ever, or something was going on there. But of course, nobody would listen to me. Nobody listened to me. I called the sheriff's department at one point when I heard the dude in the attic. I asked my neighbors, like, can you please help me? Can you come over? The sheriff's department came over, and I know the sheriff's department was in on it because when I opened the door for this one sheriff's deputy, he's like a fat, pudgy, pear-shaped dude. Like, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with being overweight or pudgy or any of that, but like this guy was just, he was slovenly for a sheriff's deputy. His uniform was like not ironed. But he showed up in a sheriff's department car with another sheriff's deputy. So like, you know what I mean? Like somebody had to be in on something, obviously. And I mean, they were definitely legit cars, like with legit radios, legit everything. And this guy shows up at my front door and he's smirking at me. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And I'm telling him somebody's inside my house and he's smiling at me. Like a sinister smile. And I was just like, what? And so I had the walkie-talkie behind my back and I let go of the button and I like did that a couple times and I could hear the person who was talking through my walkie-talkie in the attic talking through his earpiece. Oh yeah, San Luis Obispo Sheriff's Department deputy. I don't remember his name, but I never forget what he looks like. Ugh. And I yelled at him. To get the fuck out of the house. I said, get the fuck out of here. Because I knew instantly something was very wrong. And it scared me because these guys, I mean, they have handcuffs and, you know, tasers and guns and shit. And like, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Shit. But, so, and there were so many instances like that kind of crazy shit happening. I mean, crazy. So that means that the judge who signed off on the eviction notice in, San Luis Obispo County knew about it. He was corrupt. He was in on it too. The attorney, there was a Hutchinson, Timothy J. Hutchinson, and, somebody else, I can't remember his name right now. I have all of it. But he was in on it. His attorney was in on it. I mean, it's bad. This is why, like, I've been putting out, I've been posting a bunch of stuff all over the place, on all different places. Like, not everybody knows everything that I do, or everyone I talk to, or like where I drop hints and where I don't. So like, you know, even if I drop dead tomorrow or just happen to disappear or some shit like that, it's out there. It's all out there. Like, people know where to look. And 44 on the clock when I said that. And like also, they've killed other people. I don't know how many, but I know it's true. I know it's true. Can't prove that either, but I just fucking know. And you'd be like, well, wait, you're not scared? I'm like, again, what choice do I have? It's either sit here and shut the fuck up, and you can see how much good that's done me living in my car still, you know, not able. It seems like I can't. It seems like there's this, you know, glass ceiling in front of me, on either side of me, below me, and above me, and I can't get through it financially. Like my finances just seem to be stuck, and I don't. It's like, why? Well, you know, I've tried everything else, so you know what? Now we're just going to talk about it openly and be like, you know what? This is what happened. This is what happened. See if they like want to call me a liar and expose themselves. You know, I guarantee you it's going to hurt you a whole lot more than it will ever hurt me. Anyway. And like, you know, even with the drug cartels and the shit that goes on up here, like I know there's a lot of things, and I just stay out of other people's business. It's really none of my business. You know, but like, and you know, that stuff doesn't bother me. I stay away from them. They tend to stay away from me. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on up here that would just curl your toes. Even the most, veteran, like, seasoned veteran would be bothered by the things that I've seen. And, like, frankly, you know, the fact of the matter is, like, when it comes down to, like, if it's either you or me, I'm going to make sure it's me. I'm going to make sure. And, like, furthermore, yeah. But, like, I'm not gunning for anybody, you know? Like, literally or figuratively. It's just a simple matter of, like, y'all are vibing so freaking low, and you just thought you were going to get away with it, what, like, perpetually? Like, and then I would never say anything? Like, I guess you haven't been paying close enough attention to who I really am and what I really am. You just don't, like, get it, do you? Like, I can't help you with that either. I don't think I would, even if I could. But anyway, I mean, everything and then some has been tried to take me out multiple times. Excuse me. You know, people have questioned my sanity. You know, I've questioned my sanity at times. Let me tell you. Because for a long time, I couldn't figure out, like, how people were hacking my phone and shit like that. I didn't know. People would ask me, how do you know? And I'd be like, well, I don't. But, like, I can't, you know, I still don't. I've never been a hacker. I don't know how to code. I don't know any of that stuff. But I do know that Q-Link Wireless, you know, I know other people that have service with them, and they didn't make a phone call for, you know, 30 days, and their service shut down. Like, it might not happen the first month that you don't call, but, like, if you do that, you know, couple months, it's always shut down. And that goes with any Obama phone, any free government phone that anybody ever had. It's just that way. They will shut your service down if you don't use it within 30 days. Well, I have my other iPhone, and, I mean, it was taken from me for a while, and I got it back, but the thing about it is, you know, there have been so many things that have happened. Now, I mean, this phone's been acting crazy for a while, for a long time, since I bought it pretty much, and I bought this phone from Apple. It took them a while longer to break into this phone, though. It's because it was a brand new phone number, brand new service, and everything else, and it just took them longer to figure it out, how to get into this phone, and I didn't keep the two phones together, and all kinds of different things that I've done. So it took them longer, but they're in this phone, too, and I know that they are. But, I still can't exactly figure out where the camera is. I think it's in this, like, little vent thing, like, where the Bluetooth, vent is. So it's like a speaker. But I think the camera's in there. And I know how that sounds. I totally get it. Like, oh, you're crazy. Or, oh, you're paranoid or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, no. But a year ago, I was feeling pretty paranoid about it. 2 years ago, I was definitely paranoid. 3 years ago, for sure paranoid. And, like, it took me a while to learn how to withstand that kind of. I mean, you have to comprehend the tactics that were used on me were so intense. I mean, we're talking about military grade psyops shit, psychological warfare, no joke, like military grade shit, being used on me. There was this really low hum in the neighborhood, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from exactly. But it was in the house, it was outside the house, it was just like everywhere. It was weird. And so finally, you know, and because I listened to a lot of binaural beats and different things in my life, I knew that frequencies could be used for good things, right? So it occurred to me, well, what about using them for bad things? And one of the things that kept happening to me was this sense of dread. And it wasn't just my intuition trying to tell me something was wrong, because I knew something was exceptionally wrong. I had known that for a while. But it was more than that. It was like a feeling. It was like a tangible feeling. And so I looked up on YouTube something called the fearing frequency. Well, I looked it up, is there a frequency to cause fear? And Google, you know, I love AI, came back and told me, yeah, there is. And so I looked it up on YouTube and I played it. First I played it through my phone and it didn't really do much of anything. Then I was pumping it through the subwoofer sound bars that I had in Napomo, and within about 5 minutes, I was just like, my body felt like it was on fire, like panic, you know, just like flushed face and everything else. It was intense. And it was then that I realized, like that day, I realized like how deep this went. And, you know, people kept asking me, well, why would someone stalk you? Why would someone be so interested in taking you down? And I mean, these people did everything to discredit me, make me look like I was a criminal, make me look like I was crazy, made me look like all kinds of stuff. And I didn't know how to get out from under that. Because there were still things that I was like ashamed of, you know? And like, frankly, I didn't know how to beat them at their own game, kind of thing. Well, yeah, I know now. So, you know. Anyway, yeah, but this was a, you know, I've talked to people about this. I've never backed down from my story. It was true. It all happened. You know, they didn't just try to kill me. They tried to kill my dog. And they did try to hurt Michael Douglas Wood in the house. And I think that, you know, Michael knew, he knows more than he says he does, for sure. And he always did. But, he never expected them to turn it on him. Well, they did. And because he was weaker minded than me, it hit him first, long before it hit me. This whole fearing frequency and all this other shit that they were doing it, you know, because I tend to have a very, like, highly analytical mind. So, I mean, I'm very intuitive too, but, like, you know, I do tend to rationalize things more than most people, I think. And, you know, Michael with his horrible addiction, he's weak. His mind is weak. His heart is weak. He's just weak. Like, I'm not even saying that to be mean or bitchy or anything like that. It just is simply the truth, and he knows it. But it was used against him. It got to him before it got to me, and I thought he was losing his mind. There was one day where he barricaded himself, and I'm not kidding when I say barricaded. He had the hammer and the nails out and everything, like, installed a lock on the door, and he told me he was afraid of me. I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, afraid of me how? He could not explain it. I mean, what? I didn't understand what the fuck he meant by that. You know, I think I was like, we weren't really together anymore at that time, even though he thought we were. Oh. Anyway, so, but this show is real. It happened, and it was all done. You know, why did they do it? Money, property, real estate. That's why they did it. Nothing more complicated than that. Obsession. That's why it's continued with me. Making money off of me by broadcasting everything on the dark web. Oh yeah. So, you know, I'm sitting up in here just, like, you know, trying to get through my days, not sure how I'm gonna make things work. Most of the time I have no idea. I'm really just, like, kind of along for the ride, you know? And you know, the thought of, like, going to Section 8 housing, like, I explained that in the previous video. You know, that I was raped there by 2 different men, and then that was covered up by Housing Authority of Santa Barbara, which is, like, totally separate from this issue. Like, how so many people have tried to, like, utterly foobar my life is incredible. Like, it's hard for me to even, like, even when I'm sitting here and I know it all happened. I know it all happened. No doubt in my mind. Or anything else. That it's all real. It all happened. A lot of it I can prove in a court of law. Which is, like, a lot. A lot. And still, it's still going on. I mean, what can you do, though, you know? I'm a one-woman show over here. And albeit that's a lot. You know, it's a lot more than most people have. I still just, like, it's still just me. You know, it's just me. You know, I'm glad I started the YouTube channel when I did. I'm glad I made the sheriff's reports when I did. I'm glad that I've been offloading huge amounts of data and information in various places. You know, all is insurance, you know, because who knows, you know. Besides, you know, I have a tremendous story to tell. It's an incredible testimony. And I figure, you know, if anything it does ever happen to me, somebody else should have the, you know, the access to tell the story. And, you know, as long as I'm here, I don't see that happening. But, you know, like, I'm not stupid. And I'm no fool. Just because I'm not, like, you know, freaking out and pulling my hair out and, you know, like, I mean, I've gone to the police here in Santa Barbara. I've gone to the police or the sheriff's rather, in San Luis Obispo. They didn't want to help me. I was followed down to Ventura, California at one point, followed down to LA. I mean, physically followed, not just, you know, stalked in the car. Like, physically followed. And there's just, like, there's only so much you can do. After a while, it's like you just have to, like, your nervous system has to heal itself, or you're just gonna lose it, like, you know. And I'm sure that's what they wanted for it to happen to me, you know, was for me to lose my mind and just be completely, you know, debilitated and incapacitated and probably end up in a fucking institution somewhere. Who knows, you know, who knows. But, like, yeah, that didn't happen, and it's not ever gonna happen. So they've thrown everything and several kitchen sinks at me. People have come at me, trying to hurt me. All kinds of shit. All kinds of shit. You know, as I told it in the previous video, you know, I've been sexually assaulted. It's all happened. I've been beat up, like, lied to, discarded, thrown out, fucking raped. Yeah, all of it. All of it. It's all happened. All of it. And not only am I still here, but I'm doing well, and I mean, like, not monetarily necessarily, but, like, I'm doing well in the sense that I'm very well balanced mentally, emotionally, physically, still not feeling very good from the COVID, but, you know, I'm a healed person. You know, I don't have any weak points anymore. You know, it's just not there. So, you know, even cigarettes, I could really take them or leave them. I really would rather not smoke. It's just being in the car is, like, such a trigger. And then, like, also, like, for the smoking. And then also, like, I'm bored. Like, I don't have much to do. And, you know, I mean, I could solve that in any number of different ways. And at the same time, like, they're not things I want to do. So, I'm probably not going to do them. Anyway, so it's been weird. It's been a trip. Everything I'm saying is true. It all happened. You know, there are a lot more names of people involved that I either can't remember right off the top of my head or whatever. But there are a lot of people involved. I mean, hundreds of people. Like, when I realized that it was a whole group of people, at least with the eviction thing, not the one in Housing Authority where they fucking covered up my rape, but the one in Napomo, that was completely erroneous anyway, and the judge and the sheriff's department was in on that. Yeah, so I can't go to the authorities exactly because, like, hello, they're the ones who did that. They're the ones who let it happen. Now, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure that there were some deputies in the San Luis Obispo Sheriff's Department that knew nothing about it. But at the time, I didn't know that, and I wasn't going to trust anyone. And I just kept getting told that I was crazy. I was just like, yeah, okay, what the fuck? No, I'm not, though. I had quit smoking pot for a while. And then I went to the hospital, like on a voluntary, to be like, have a mental health assessment, because I was really upset about this guy being in the attic and nobody would listen to me. The neighbor, Hurley Gouliash, came over to the house and he got on the ladder and climbed up in the ladder into the attic or the crawl space, and he said he was talking to this guy. I could hear him through the walkie-talkie, and I could hear him talking because I was only about 20 feet away from him. And he says to this guy, the same voice that I had heard earlier in the night. He said, Charlie said to this man, he said, "What's going on?" Something like that. It was like, "What's going on?" or "What's going on in here?" or something like that. And to which the guy responded, "She's got a brother low." What? What do you mean? I don't know what that means exactly. I could guess. But, like, I caught this guy in the attic. I knew he was there. And, fuck. And Charlie was talking to him that day. He was talking to him. Charlie wired the camera outside of the garage and had been, I think whoever this was, had been coming over the fence from Victoria's, the corner property, because I had the front covered with a security camera, but, like, my security camera footage started going missing. The SIM card was missing out of my fucking security camera. That means somebody was physically inside the house. They dropped it. Whoever it was, they dropped it on the floor. I found it on the floor. It's not a SIM card, excuse me, a memory card. Yeah, there's no way my dog got that out of the back of that camera. There's no way. And I didn't do it. Yeah. That thing's been sitting on ice for a long time. And it's about time that all of this came out. Like, just like a big enema of truth. Yeah. And, like, no, I don't have any friends, but I do have people that are interested in the story, interested enough to listen, interested enough to release things. So, it's really neither here nor there to me, not necessarily. But I'm tired of being quiet about it. I've been quiet for a long time. I did go up to San Luis Obispo and filed a sheriff's department, a report with the sheriff's department there. So it's not like nobody knows, like, there have been people listening to me, people taking it seriously. And no, I'm not crazy, and they don't think I'm crazy either. There have been other people I've explained to them what I experienced in the home in Napomo and what's happened subsequently here, coming back down Santa Barbara. And every single one of them, one in particular, and, she's been a fairly decent person to me. She says she's sure it was a military grade psyop. That's what happened to me. Oh, yeah. And there's a whole lot more, too. There's a whole lot more. These people are, at the very least, guilty of attempted murder. Yeah, multiple times tried to kill me. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still homeless. Yeah. I live my life in public, pretty much. With very little, if any, protection at all. And, people have taken advantage of that for a long fucking time. Like, frankly, these people don't really deserve to be breathing, because I know I'm not the only one they've hurt. I know I'm not. There's no way you streamline a project or an operation like what they did to me, and you haven't done it before. Oh yeah, they knew exactly what to do. They knew exactly what to do, and albeit it took them a lot longer with me than it ever took them before with anyone. And that's what pissed them off. That's what, like, made it personal with them. That's why they hated me so much, was because I wouldn't give up. I would not give up. I suck. Like, yeah, well, I don't know, like, what you've been paying attention to, but obviously I don't give up. You know? Are you kidding me? I mean, it told me all I ever needed to really know about myself when I realized that a whole group of people, professionals, couldn't take me out. And it's just me. I didn't even have Bella at the time. But, like, this whole fucking group of people couldn't take me out. And yet they couldn't figure out how. Like, how is she withstanding this? Don't know, really. God. And I warned them, too. And I warned the man in the attic, too. I said, you know what? I remember that night that I heard this motherfucker up in the attic. The cops were trying to tell me it was a rat. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. It's like a fucking 200-pound rat up there. Yeah, no, that's not a rat. Thanks, San Luis was for sheriffs. Fuck. Fucking. There was a sheriff's deputy who was calling me the day before this this totally unlawful eviction notice was supposed to be served on me. And he told me, I hope you're not going to be there the next day, Rebecca, because we'll have to arrest you. What? No, you don't. No, what? But by that time, I was exhausted. I was exhausted. My little brother had just died. I mean, I think it hadn't even been 6 months since my brother died. I don't even know. And, like, this motherfucker. And he was, ooh, that motherfucker. And he knew exactly what he was saying. He knew exactly what was going on. And they called me from the sheriff's department because it came up. I mean, it was definitely the sheriff's department. I could hear dispatch in the background. I mean, I knew it was the sheriff's department. Plus, the sheriff's department had shown up at the house, like, telling me about this eviction notice. I'm like, that's not normal, though. Sheriffs don't do that unless someone's paying them to be service processors. You know, like, you have to pay the sheriffs to do that. They don't just offer their services to do that shit. Like, you have to pay them. Even, like, if you're doing it legally, you have to pay them. So, yeah, these fuckers were all paid off. So were the attorneys that I hired out of Los Angeles County. They were paid off to tell me to leave. 2 of them. One of them is like I told you, she is a published author. And they both changed their story in less than 2 weeks. Like, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a matter for the FBI, no doubt, because it's, you know, these fucking people. All for money. None of it's going to end up, I mean, look, their grandchildren owe me money, is how bad this is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you believe it. You know, their grandchildren's grandchildren, like, people who aren't even born in their family lineage yet, not only have mountains of karma to dig out from it. I mean, they've, like, this is what generational curses are. This is what this is. This is part of how it works. Like, you literally cursed your bloodline. I have nothing to do with it. Nothing. Nothing at all. And, you are so cute. Oh my god. You're so fucking cute, Mamoo. I know, I heard that too. But yeah, it's been wild. No doubt. So yeah. Anyway. I'm just taking a minute here. There's a lot of energy around me right now. Like, I don't even... Like, again, it's that same, like, throwback feeling from, this is how it felt in the promo. Like, this intense, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, this intense hatred directed at me. Like, people just want me to shut up and die, literally. Like, these people are so fucking nasty. I cannot. I mean, really, really, really vile. I mean, they're, like, literally upset with me for not dying. It's like, sorry to disappoint you. Not at all. Stop you. I smell food. But, like, yeah, when you feel the kind of energy that I'm feeling around me right now, it's gnarly. Like, it's gnarly. Nar. It's intense hatred. Like, intense hatred. Like, people just never wanted me to figure it out. And if I did, they just wanted me to shut the fuck up. You know? Like, that's literally what it's like. It's horrible. Like, really horrible energy. And, frankly, I just don't give a fuck. I just don't. And it's not because I'm some unhealed, apathetic, you know, mess of a person. It's just simply because, you know, in order to survive, you gotta decide what's important to you and what isn't. Real fast. And you gotta stick to it. Because if you don't, you're gonna die. Like, you will not make it. You will not make it. Anyway, love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. No one's gonna do it for us. And, yeah. Bye for now.